Before we start today's show, I would just like to say a massive thank you to Julia Metcalf for your £10 pledge over at our Patreon account. Please send us a shipping address and we will post you a free product within the next few days, and also send us a message on which topic you would like us to make a story on. Thank you once again for your support here at TNTV News. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TNTV News. Today is Good Friday, and over the next 4 days we have an incredible amount of news that we're actually going to break here at TNTV. I had a lengthy conversation over the telephone with my American reporter the other day about some of the stuff that we're going to break out of the new omnibus bill that passed in America. From the military building the border wall to how much money that Israel's going to get out of the omnibus bill that just passed. We've got news that we're going to break, and mainstream media, if we actually get huge views on these videos, are going to hate this, because they want to be the ones controlling the output of media. They want to be the ones that issue the big stories with their spin, with their narrative. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. When you've got social media, when you've got YouTube, when you've got Facebook, anybody can talk about anything and go viral. We don't need the BBC. The reality is we don't need the CNN types that say Russia story is all about ratings, while you have America expelling 60 diplomats, which isn't for ratings, which is actual sanctions on Russia. The embassy in Seattle was shut down, and in response to that, the embassy in St. Petersburg, Russia, was shut down. The American embassy over there. What I would like to remind my viewers is that Vladimir Putin came out and said that he will cooperate with the UK-led investigation. Why would he say that if he was going to be found ultimately guilty? Doesn't this sound a lot like the Assad chemical weapons attack, where he apparently nerve-gassed his own people in Damascus? The UN held a private investigation, or a public investigation I should say, and found out that it was Islamic State, even though Islamic State actually videoed themselves doing it and was stupid enough to post it on Twitter. That ruined the BBC and CNN and the cruise missile strikes against Assad, troops on the ground, the whole shebang. It ruined it, because the truth came out. Now, we want to ruin the globalist plan right now to demonize and bash Russia by any means necessary. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by sharing the raw footage, the statistics, the facts that the mainstream media seem to miss.
Then why is CNN constantly like, Russia this, Russia that?
Because it's ratings.
Because it's ratings?
Our ratings are incredible right now.
But honestly, you think the whole Russia shit is just like bullshit?
Could be bullshit. I mean, it's mostly bullshit right now. Like, we don't have any big giant proof. I just feel like they don't really have it, but they want to keep digging.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the president is probably right to say, like, look, you are witch hunting me. Like,
Sergei Strupril's daughter has woken up this morning, and fingers crossed she can raise a bit more light on what's happened. Her father is still in intensive care, basically on his deathbed. Like I said before, Vladimir Putin said he would cooperate with a UK-led investigation. So why are so many sanctions, why are so many Russian diplomats being expelled from the EU, from the UK, from America? Why is that happening? Because what would you do? What would you all do now if it came out that it was somebody else? If it wasn't the Russians, God forbid, it wasn't the Russians that did it, but you have actually expelled Russian diplomats and you have actually put higher sanctions on Russian exports over a theory. I mean, you imagine now that it comes out it wasn't the Russians. You know what happens then? All of these countries that have expelled Russian diplomats are standing there with their thumb up their ass because they look like complete idiots. Okay, all of these countries, you have no choice now but to go 100% and somehow, if it wasn't the Russians, you've got a fake proof that it was the Russians. Because if not, you've expelled hundreds of Russian diplomats for no reason whatsoever in front of the entire world. And every mainstream media outlet is, Russia did it, Russia did it, Russia did it. Just regurgitating it like a parrot, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they do. If you like what we're doing here at TNTV News, please head on over to the description box of this video where you can find a link to our Patreon site. £1 a month will get you a shout out on our live feed or YouTube video plus a personal message.